We we be live.
Howdy, everybody.
I
I'm
hope.
electrical taping my volume setting, so I can't turn that down and mix all
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I've used a roll of electrical tape on my setup over here tonight.
Well, that's good. That
Everything's
means
strung
you're
together.
making it permanent.
Well, no, it's all coming down tonight.
Why is it taking up your like living space?
Yeah, yeah. For the most, I mean, pretty much. I don't have a very
Yeah.
big place here, Mylo, and if I got microphones in the middle of the floor and everything, it takes up some space.
You live under the steps. That's why.
I know it. I'm gonna have to get out of here.
So can everybody hear us? See us? Somebody? They're all being quiet in the chat now.
No, y'all need to talk to us.
Well, I don't know.
How many people's
I
watching
guess.
it?
Well, right now it shows uh, all two of us.
All two, huh?
It says I'm a little quiet. I moved my mic. I did. I put a lot of effort into that.
This mic is
Put a
super
lot of effort into
sensitive,
that.
the one that I'm using. And so I've about an hour of getting all this set up is just setting this thing at different distances from me to try to figure out what's not going to blow somebody's ears out. So I hope I got it.
We put you one of them sneeze shields on it, one of those big round diffuser muffler
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I don't have one. Could have used a t-shirt and built me something out of a paper towel rack or something, but
Yeah.
hindsight's 2020.
Or you could have just slid a sock over it.
Yeah, yeah, I could have.
Yeah. So we'll recap for a minute.
Okay.
I don't. So the people in the chat didn't hear our conversation on spoons. So I
Okay.
asked Landon if he had ever played the spoons, and he said he had. And I asked him if he used two kitchen spoons because there's a Gaelic band that I watch, and I believe the dude that plays the spoons there has a special set, and I believe they're wooden, of spoons that are attached on a hinge, and because they stay together, he just puts them in his back pocket, pulls them out. They might, and I think they're just shaped like spoons, but they're almost. I think he puts his finger in between them to get the spring. Like
Yeah.
there's a hinge on the backside, and does it. So
Huh.
you've never seen anything
Well,
special
I've
made for that.
no, I didn't know that that was called spoons, but I've saw something
Well,
kind of like that on a drum set before. A lot of times drummers will have something really similar to that mounted on their rack, and they'll pop it, and that's what gets that little clacking sound. Uh, what's that song by the Rolling Stones? Can't you hear me knocking? And the at the end of it, whenever they go into like the musical outro, that's what they're using to get that sound that I'm talking about. I don't know if that's the same thing you're talking about, but that's what it sounds like.
well, let's see. I am messing with the internet. So yeah, they do make metal ones and wooden ones.
Uh huh.
And so let me see now. This might just freak everybody out if we can do this. Where did it go? Uh oh. I don't think. Wait a minute. I'll have to do it this way. There we go. All right. So this one, share, add to stream. All right. So right here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that?
I do. Yeah.
Well, I don't see it no more. It done blew. Where did it go? Yeah, there we go. So I think this is something like he has special made, and the points here on the front, I guess for when you
Uh-huh.
rake it across whatever for
Right.
your fingers, and then
That's pretty cool.
back in here it's tied.
Hmm.
And I believe he puts his finger in here to give it that space.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
What's the
Maybe he
name of this?
doesn't. He's kind of hard.
What's the name of this band that you're talking about?
So this is hair. Oh, Gaelic Storm.
Mm. Mm.
Gaelic Storm is the lead Gaelic man.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a lot of, you know, uh, the spoons, the harmonica. What are the little accordions? They're like handheld ones. And he plays a big one too. I mean, like it's.
Handheld accordions. I don't know. I don't know what you call that.
But he plays the spoons.
Huh. That's cool. I like Celtic music a lot.
These would look cheap here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this looks like he's taking a couple of kitchen spoons and slide them into a rubber handle or something.
Uh-huh. Now, see, whenever you asked me if I played spoons, that's what I meant right there. I didn't even have the rubber handle, but kind of in that second picture,
yeah,
it shows how the man's holding them. That's what I done. I just clacked them.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Well, I mean that's when I was a kid, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Because my grandparents were kind of musical, and I got a Jew's harp one time. You ever mess with a Jew's harp?
Talking about like a jaw harp, one of the damn things.
Yeah, where you go boing, boing, boing,
Yeah.
boing, 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 boing.
Yeah, I have one
Yeah.
somewhere over there in that mess. I've never been able to get much.
I thought that. I mean,
I never played with it enough to get the art of that one down. I like them. I think they sound really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You just make boing, boing. That's all I ever did. Just make boing, 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 boing kind of noises with it.
Right.
Yeah. Robert wants to hear Freebird.
I'm not playing Freebird. If you want to hear Freebird, you can go talk to Tall Paul. He covers all the Freebird. That ain't my department.
Who's Tall?
Tall Paul's this guy that whenever Ryan and Robert and I went to Farragut for that training, we stopped at this restaurant and ate, and there was a guy in there named Tall Paul playing, and everyone kept screaming Freebird at him, and he would never play it either. So I guess actually he ain't going to help you out either now that I think about it.
Yep. Well, that seems to be the song when I go to Gaelic Storm. I always holler out Freebird.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. My wife always smacks me.
Yeah. I don't blame her.
Because at some point in the process in the show, they interact because there's just like four players, four people in the band, and so they interact with the audience and all that stuff, and they end up that's their mistake, talking to us.
Yeah.
Always holler out. People are, what do you think we're going to hear? Johnny Tarr, all these other songs that they know, and I just always holler out Freebird. And they ignore me. I mean, that's what you do when people start calling out Freebird. You just
they start heckling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, man. I mean, it's a good song. I like Freebird. I think it's popular for a reason, I mean, I understand that, but it's one of those songs, along with Sweet Home Alabama, on the subject of Skinner. Like, if I never heard it again, I don't think it would bother me all that much. My dad, when I was little growing up, he had a Southern rock band that was local. They were pretty big local, I guess you'd say, but that was like their main influences was Skinner and Molly Hatchet and people like that. So I grew up hearing that kind of stuff just over and over on repeat, and I'm so burnt out on most of Skinner's stuff. Well, I like some things. I like
Gina's
the deeper
here,
cut.
fantastic hair.
Yeah.
The deeper cut.
Yeah.
So Regina wants to know what you're going to play, what you're going to be singing.
So the first thing I'm going to do is a murder ballad that I wrote.
The murder ballad.
Yeah.
That you wrote.
That I wrote. Yeah.
And why do you call it a murder ballad? I mean, it sounds self-explanatory, but
okay. Well, so I kind of talking about Celtic music. That's a good segue to this. I really like old folk Appalachian music. That's the kind of stuff I like to listen to, and I like the storytelling aspect of it a lot. And kind of a tradition I've come to notice in Appalachian music is murder ballads. Like that's a really popular thing, or used to be, for men to write songs about killing their wives or someone else or whatever. And after listening to about 100 of them, I guess, or however many of them, I sort of realized that there was a template for what it takes to make a murder ballad. And I mean, for one, someone's got to get shot, first of all. But second of all, like it usually starts out with the guy, the main character of the story, being a not a very good person. We'll just say he does some questionable things, but he finds love or whatever, some way or another, and then he ends up messing it up and he shoots him for it. And so there's usually a lesson, like a moral type thing at the end of it. That's kind of the thing that I saw that they all have in common. And so I decided I wanted to try my hand at writing one, and I did. And I guess I'll just play it instead of talking about it.
Well,
unless you got something else you want.
Yep.
Okay. Make sure I'm in tune here. Name of this song's No Love for a Rounder. I was no good rounding man when I met a preacher's daughter, and I swear for the Lord and Lord, she's the prettiest in the holler. Lord, set my soul on fire. Winter turned, springtime's bloom, and a band went on her hand. We built a cabin on a mountain, oh, by day I worked the land. That night I loved her true. But the trouble with my heathen soul, my heart was filled with envy, and I went and shot an innocent man over something that was hearsay. Lord, I kept him right and true. And I ran all night through a mountain thicket, beneath the light of a full-blown moon. Them hounds baying out on my tail like I was a ringtail coon. I wouldn't be back too soon. I snuck down from the hills up there and found myself a city where the streets were paved with lies and tears, and the sins they were aplenty. Lord, it took me right on in. some time of cards and wine and the love of a strange woman, I snuck back to my home up there at her cabin in the mountain. Lord, I yearned to feel her touch, but I found her wrapped away in the arms of another. Without a word, I drew my coat and shot the place asunder. Lord, I left them where they lay, and I set flame to the cabin home, saved one shell for myself. Next time I see that preacher's girl, it'll be down deep in hell, where I'm heading now myself. So come on in, you rounding men, rest your ponies of their lather, give your heart to good and love, and hold your woman tighter. There's no love for a rounder. No love for a rounder.
So, explain to me, and maybe other people know, but I don't think I do. What's the term rounder mean?
So, it's a really old term. And basically, back in the old days, a rounder, the way I understand it, was just used as a general no account. It's someone who doesn't hold a job. It's someone who doesn't have a place of residence. They roam around causing mischief, getting into trouble. Often it ends with the law, breaking hearts and stealing money and all that type of stuff.
So just a rounder being just a roamer.
Yeah.
Scoundrel, just roaming around.
Yeah. General no accounts. Yeah.
Right. Well, that was pretty good. Now, you said there was like a recipe or a template or something like that. What do you feel that is?
Well,
a murder song.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was getting into there a minute ago. And I don't know. I mean, this is just something that I noticed, by listening to a lot of them. But, typically, almost always, they're told from a man's point of view. And the man is usually some sort of troubled character or a rounder, we might say. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding because he shoots his wife and countless other people throughout the song. But it's like, basically it's someone who, or the template is, so it's told from the man's point of view. He's troubled. He finds a woman, thinks he's in love, or, thinks he finds love. And then he realizes that his old ways are just too hard to break. And usually that results in violence because, at the time that most of these songs were written, divorce was not an option. So, they just shoot them and carry on with their life. Yeah. So, or maybe not, but that's sort of something that I've noticed about a lot of them. And so I was goofing around. Actually, I come up with the idea to write it the other day when we were at the shop before we was about to go home. That little lick come out, I was picking it, and I come home and wrote a song that evening. I decided I wanted to write a murder ballad, so that's what I did.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well, thank you.
So now, what other ones have you just written off because you decided you wanted to do something like that? I mean, is there another style of music or another style of song that you thought you'd want to write and just wrote one?
Yeah, I do that a lot. And I mean, a lot of times maybe they don't turn out good, but I think that as a writer, it's good to kind of step outside what you are necessarily comfortable with. So what I'm big into doing is if I find a particular genre of music or a niche of music that I'm into or that I like, I'll usually try to write something, maybe not even consciously try to write it. A lot of times I think it's probably more of a subconscious thing, but it's like subconsciously I write something that's sort of in that niche, and I try to, just do it the best that I can to become a better writer, to become a better player, whatever. I'm all the time trying to challenge myself with music. So, yeah, that happens from time to time. I've wrote blues songs. I've wrote, country songs, of course, and I've played some rock stuff, and, just whatever I'm into, I'll try to do it.
Well, Robert and Regina liked it. They said sounded good and it was a good job.
And thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have you ever looked at, or do you know any? And this kind of comes back to the Celtic thing. This band is really upbeat, and their songs tell stories, but they're almost always drinking stories.
Yeah.
They're almost always the pub, rowdy singing, foot stomping, hand clapping kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Have you wrote any like that, or have you ever thought about those? I guess the murder ballads could always involve a lot of drinking and that kind of stuff too, but
definitely,
not really upbeat.
Yeah.
Say.
And I've never like wrote or tried to fool around with writing in like an Irish, like shanty, I guess you'd call that.
Right.
Celtic type shanty. But the interesting thing about like murder ballads and Appalachian folk music, is the people that settled these mountains originally, they came from Ulster, Scotland, or Ulster, Ireland. I'm sorry. They were Scots that had moved to Ulster, Ireland, and then eventually moved to the Appalachian Mountains. And so they brought a lot of that tradition with them. And so old Appalachian folk music and bluegrass is very closely related to, Celtic type stuff. So you see a lot of the same themes and even instruments and stuff. It's blended pretty close together.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, I haven't ever tried to run a shanty.
Repertoire.
Well, I thought since I wrote a song and played a song about shooting a woman, I would now write a song, a love song that didn't involve the woman dying at the end. So this is a song I wrote some time ago called Eyes of Blue. It's a love song. So get your tissues out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Get you a beverage to drink. She's a Hank Williams song on a night car ride. Breaks you with her lonesome, touches you just right. She gets to the truth, what's inside of you. Like you got nothing to lose, and her eyes are blue. She's a coffee in my cup, the morning sun when it comes up, the miles I travel just to feel at home. When I've been long gone and I don't want to roam, always ready to hear my next lonesome song. And the thought of love makes a man go a-spinning his wheels. But I never knew just how good it would feel to sit still. And I've been a rake, I've been a rambling fool, but the heart on my sleeve don't break like it used to when I stare in her eyes of blue. She's bourbon in a glass, an Epsom salt bath, a ladle of sawmill gravy on a cat head biscuit. She's all new and familiar too. Everything I never knew that never made me blue. She's the chills on my arm when I hear a good guitar. The feeling of fate that follows a shooting star. She swims the depth of who I am, with only my soul to lose in her eyes of blue. And the thought of love makes a man go spinning his wheels. But I never knew just how good it would feel to sit still. And I've been a rake, I've been a rambling fool, but the heart on my sleeve don't break like it used to. When I stare in her eyes blue.
That was a good one. Yep.
Thank you. Now, hold on just a second. I dropped my cape up. Now, I think since the public's here, Mylo, should we open a can of worms and ask them if Go Tell It on the Mountain is a Christmas song? Or ask them, rather, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about worm opening.
So what do you guys think? Is Go Tell It on the Mountain a Christmas song? Because Mylo wanted me to learn some Christmas music, and so I told him that I'd play that one, and he said he didn't think that was a Christmas song. I think that it is. What do y'all think?
Can you see the chat?
Well, I just
late.
opened it up.
Yeah.
Darby's Castle. Maybe I have heard that one. That title sounds familiar, but I'm gonna go listen to it again. Could be.
Says could be.
Yeah. Well, the reason I thought that it was Joe thinks it is. Joe thinks it is. It is.
Yeah.
But the reason
Robert
I thought it was. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. He says, but it's not the standard Silent Night. Yeah. Well,
definitely.
Why don't you sing it, and then we'll all just pick it apart and see if we.
Sure. Yeah. The reason that I think that it's a Christmas song, I was telling him, is because when I was little, the church play at the Baptist church every year, at my mama's church, the way I always did, Go Tell It on the Mountain. So it's a good memory song for me, and it reminds me of Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, I'll play it for you. Try to, anyway. Hold on, no, that ain't right. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Yeah. While shepherds kept her watching over silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang the angels' chorus that hailed our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lowly manger, our humble Christ was born and brought us all salvation that blessed Christmas morn. Saying, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. That Jesus Christ is born. That Jesus Christ is born. See, it says Christmas in it, Mylo.
Well, well, it's to the true story of Christmas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll have to agree with you on that. It does tell the true story of Christmas.
Yeah.
So, I don't guess I ever thought about it that way. But now you talked about it being a memory song for you that brings back, when you good times is Christmas reminds you of Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Christmas and winter times. Some of the ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra
Oh, yeah.
songs that I used to listen to. Yeah, I hear it because you don't hear them a lot
Uh-huh.
anymore at all.
Yeah.
And if I do hear one, you know, it always brings back the memory of wintertime. Because I mean, back in the day, you had to buy cassettes,
Uh-huh.
and you'd buy them, and they would buy them at a certain time of the year or whatever, whether it was summer, winter. But I just happened to have this one near Christmas, and of course, when you buy a new cassette, you just listen to it over and over and over and over,
Yeah, of course.
until you got
I
tired
bet.
of hearing it, and then you go
Yeah.
back. But yeah,
Right.
it's kind of weird the
That's
way that stuff
interesting.
works.
It is. It's interesting that ELO reminds you. I got an album of theirs somewhere over in this stack of mess. Um, I like ELO. That's not what
Yeah.
I don't associate them with Christmas, but I like them.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
You're
funny
not
how that
supposed to
works, though. You're
associate
right.
them with Christmas, but
No, you're
yeah,
not, but you do anyway. It's funny how that works.
yeah. Well, that was just the time that I had it, and it always brings
Yep.
back that. You know,
Yep.
it's kind of like today. The weather was all misty and cool and all that kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff, and that kind of reminded me of wintertime and Christmas, just because it was when I was I won't say when I was a real kid, but when I was in
A
my
real kid.
teens,
Uh-huh.
when I was in my teens, we lived on top of a hill,
Mm-hmm.
and if you went out in the wintertime, looked out the front, you could see through a few trees, and it opened up into the guy who owned the hillside with pasture land, and you could look out, and it was wintertime's always kind of cool and foggy and
Mm-hmm.
misty or spitting snow or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just
Yeah.
looking, thinking, man, that looked like, when I used to look out I always go to the window and look out the front door to see if it was snowing, and you could see, you know, out across the pasture, and it just you see off a hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of
Do you
reminded me
do
of
you
that.
consider yourself a nostalgic person?
Now that I'm older,
Yeah.
probably.
I
Yeah.
think I am. I mean, I think that's the reason why I'm such a pack rat because I keep everything. Like everything's got a memory associated with it, and I noticed that
Right.
you kind of seem that way. Not saying you're a pack rat necessarily, but you seem like you
Oh,
hang on
I
to
am.
stuff. Yeah, you seem
I
like you hang
do.
on to stuff. So I kind of figured that maybe you might be a nostalgic soul deep down underneath all that
Yeah.
beard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny that and I don't know why. Maybe it's part of the way you brought up as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like you put human attributes on the inhuman things.
Yeah.
Like when I was, I don't know, you may have saw I brought out some of those things that I've collected. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And that little
Mm-hmm.
giraffe, I bought that little giraffe and the bear
Yeah.
that I, just bought. You add human attributes to them. Like here, I'm going to sit this giraffe down. He's going to accompany me while I do my stream
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that teaches people empathy. It teaches kids empathy. So they have
Mm-hmm.
like a stuffed animal. Well, don't you
Mm-hmm.
want to take Teddy, in the car with you? We go see Grandmama or
Yeah.
something. And
Yeah.
oh yeah, let's take Teddy, and we'll
Yeah.
show him the sights. Let him look at the lights at the Bristol
Yeah.
Speedway. So
Yeah.
I
That
think
makes a lot of sense.
that leads to you. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never really thought about it
attach
as far as
memories
teaching
to it.
teaching empathy and like seeing the human value of it. Because I definitely think you're right. I know that for me, anytime that like, especially if like somebody gives me something, I don't care if it's the most useless piece of junk. Like somebody can give me a piece of paper, and I will not, I cannot bring myself to turn loose of it, just because to me that's like, after years later down the road, that's the thing that I have by old Joe down here or whatever. That's just how I associate it in my mind. So I've always held on to things that people give me. I've done that pretty much my whole life, but yeah. And I guess Christmas time really, like, because you're getting people's giving you gifts and stuff like that. So I think it's a time of the year where like nostalgia is just kind of part of it. You get nostalgic about life, I guess.
Right. Yep. This is definitely
Mm,
the time, and that's the reason that some people really enjoy it, and then other people it really brings them down because
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times they don't have good memories, or they miss the good times so much that it becomes a real burden to them. But
Mm-hmm. Right.
Clell says I still have my helmet from where I was on the pit crew and her, and that's true. I mean the little
Mm.
pomponnant things kind of wore down, but I still have it. Still got it.
Yeah, I've seen his shop, Landon Pack Rat. Yes, sir. Well, I've saw his desk.
Yep. Well, I can't get rid of
Mine.
all it. Well, now I'm not the one that collected all those things on top of Craig's desk now,
Well, that's true. But I
but
didn't
that
either.
wasn't you
Ryan,
either. So,
Ryan done that business. I
right.
might have encouraged it a little bit.
Well, he don't take much encouraging.
Hmm. No, you're right. But what I mean by that is we laid it out in the windowsill, so because I knew that if he found it, that he'd take it. So we baited the trap, and he took it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Got to lay it out there so he finds it, and that starts the whole ball rolling.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yep.
Well,
So, what's your next song you gonna do?
I plan to play 3 songs, so that's what I played. I can pull another one out though if you want to hear one. How long are you
Yeah.
keeping these streams now? I thought 30 minutes was your kind of your threshold.
Well, it is. We've been on here 39 minutes, but we got kind of a late start. People trickled in and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you want to give us a hit the road trail song?
Sure,
So,
sure.
what's your old Gene Autry played all
Yeah,
them little cowboy songs.
yeah.
Have you got an old cowboy
Oh,
song?
buddy, do I have an old
A
cowboy song?
little,
I got a bunch of old cowboy songs.
one of those ones where if you were just walking your horse across the desert, he
Yeah.
would be the drums and you would just the do 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 do.
Oh yeah, I got one for you. I got the perfect
Okay.
one for you, actually. Let's see. I'm lonesome, but I'm happy. I'm rich, but I'm broke. The good Lord knows the reason. I'm just a cowpoke. From Cheyenne to Austin, them ranges I know. I drift with the wind. No one cares where I go. I ain't got a cent in these old worn out jeans. I'll stop eating steaks and go back to beans. I'll pick up a 10 spot in Prescott, I know, just to ride in the Bronx in the big rodeo. One evening in the springtime, a filly I'll find. I might spend all the summer with her on my mind. I'll never be branded, I'll never be broke. Just a carefree range riding, drifting cowpoke. Yes,
So
sir.
now, where did that one come from?
So that song is really old. I think the first guy that recorded it was Eddie Arnold, but it's another one of those. And cowboy songs, a lot like Appalachian songs, are kind of like that. How a lot of them originated is they would sing to the cattle at night, because whenever they'd
Right.
put them all together, I don't know if y'all already know this or not, but if you don't, they would put the cattle in a bunch and they stampeded really easy. They didn't like loud noises, so the night herd would ride around and kind of sing to them softly, and that would keep the cattle calm. And so a lot of these old songs just started out like that, and then people, added on to them years after or years later. But yeah, I think Eddie Arnold recorded that one first. But my favorite version is by a guy named Dave Stammy. If anybody has never heard of him, you should look him up. He's good, especially if you like cowboy music. But yeah,
Cool. Yeah.
yes, sir.
Well, 43 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Had some good songs. Oh, well worth the time.
Yeah, had a good
Appreciate you
time.
coming
Thanks for
back.
having. Yes, sir. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me back on Minutes with Mylo. I've had a good time.
Well, everybody seemed to enjoy it. Robert said good times. Clell says
Thank
it
y'all.
sounds great. Yep. Joe, I don't know. He's probably into number 9 or 10 by now. So
Joe's in a coma somewhere,
he's not
piled up.
typing much.
No.
Well, so, but anyway, I appreciate it. We'll
Thanks,
follow up in
guys.
the evening.
Yes, sir.
See y'all. Everybody wave to the cameras.